Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Everyday Trader. This is Greg Jensen, CEO of Options Animal. Good to see you again, and good to be here with Eric Hale, CEO of Trader Oasis.
What is happening, my everyday traders? It is so good to see you all out there. Got some exciting stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, matter of fact, maybe we'll call this. We were just looking through some of our past viewed videos, and we're looking at some strategy videos and my favorite trades. You and I have both done an episode on our favorite trade. Maybe we should call this one your favorite trade that you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Um,
My
the
least favorite trade.
My least favorite trade, the cash secured put. I know a lot of people, sometimes this is referred to as a naked put option. Um, and not to go too into the weeds of what this trade really is, but just to kind of give you an overview of a cash secured put. And I think the reason we wanted to go over this as we were talking, Eric, was there's a lot of advisors out there who pitch this strategy as a cheaper way to buy a stock. And a lot of new options traders who say, well, I've got cash in my account that I want to buy shares for. And the idea is if I get into an options trade, I can maybe make a little bit of extra money. But let me talk to you about why it is such a bad trade. And then we'll give you a
Let-
real example.
Let's
Uh,
talk about some of the benefits. Let's before we jump right into the
all right, all
negatives.
right. There are some
So
benefits,
I,
right?
I mean, the one of the benefits of this trade is it's really freaking simple. There's one instrument that's a short put. Now, some people think ahead, and some of you are probably thinking about the wheel strategy. And I've heard this thrown out there, and that is, I'm not going to buy the stock now, but if it goes down, I'll buy the stock and then I'll buy puts and protect myself. So there are people that are trying to be more proactive and look at this by controlling risk. But my personal observation and experience here is that while this trade is very simple to understand, it's a lot more difficult to actually pull off in real life. And what you end up doing is picking up, we refer to this as picking up coins in front of a steamroller. So the steamroller moves at a pretty predictable pace, but that steamroller can turn into a Tesla Plaid without any knowledge. And a Tesla Plaid can be going 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. So before that car has left the intersection, it's going 60 miles an hour. And if you're in front of that thing trying to pick up change, your history. So you're looking at a trade where, it's not like you're going to lose everything, but it could be significant. We have a client who's a dentist at Options Animal. We have a client who's a dentist. You know Stuart's story? Do you know this one? I don't know if you
I
know this.
don't know this story.
Yeah. So Stuart reached out to me because he knows that I talk about the the fact that retail traders probably should be avoiding naked puts or these cash secured puts. Simple trade, easy to understand. But the people who do them, I liken it to playing Russian roulette. And if you play Russian roulette, there's 5 people who are very smart, and there's only one stupid person. And the truth is, they all have the same level of intelligence because they've all made the same decision. There's confirmation bias. I did it. So we have a doctor, actually a French doctor who lives in Paris, who's talked to me. He says, I've done this trade significantly. I've done it for the past couple of years and I've never lost money. If I've lost money, it's only been a little bit of money and it's been okay. But I say certainly you can see that there are times when we have massive drops in the market where like here we have Dollar General yesterday going from 125 down to the mid 80s. And if you get caught in front of that steamroller when it gaps like this, you're looking at maybe 5, 8, 10 times whatever you brought in terms of a loss. And if somebody's saying, well, I need to do one of these, you're bringing like 450 bucks, maybe. So maybe I want to bring in, $2,000. So, your losses could be as high as, I mean, tens of thousands of dollars. So you're looking to make 1,000 and you're losing tens of thousands or more. True story. So Stuart is one of our clients, long-term member of Options Animal, lifetime member. but he's a practicing dentist, and he got an invite from one of these newsletters that all they do is naked puts. And this person had a fantastic track record. And Stuart said, you know what? I'm busy. I'm a practicing dentist. I'm just going to take your trades. They sound like good trades, and I'm just going to do what you do. Stuart did so well with that strategy, he decided to retire and sell his business. This is a true story. It brought tears to my eyes when I heard it, because Stuart told me the day that I had my goodbye party. So my practice is on Friday. This is a party on Thursday. Friday is my last day at my practice. I'm turning it over to I've trained the new dentist who's going to take over my clients. I'm having a goodbye party on Thursday while I'm experiencing a loss that's so great that I would need to work 2 more years to be able to recover the loss that I had in that one day. Because of the exposure that he had, he started doing this trade. It worked. He got more and more comfortable. You get this confirmation bias and this sort of confidence that it hasn't happened to me. And he had what is arguably a life-changing event. And the shameful thing is, he didn't need to have that. He didn't need to do that. He could have made just as much money by mitigating his risk.
That to me is the biggest fallacy of this trade, especially when it's pitched by advisors, is they pitch this concept of, oh, this is a safe trade. It's cash secured. You got the cash sitting there anyway. You're okay owning the shares. And so this is a conservative type of trade that in reality, there's huge downside risk to if you have an outlying event, or even in some cases, it's not even a black swan type event. In some cases, it's just a quarterly earnings event, which is what the example that we're going to show you here that you were referencing on Dollar General, there's the potential for big downward moves that does, you're right, put yourself at huge risk to reward scenarios that are just not safe. And that's to me where the biggest disconnect is the perception of risk on a trade, risk management, and how to expose it. And that's the beauty of combining option trades and understanding spreads, so that you can still, I don't want to take away the concept of selling options as a way of generating income. It's actually one of the best things to learn how to do in the options world, is how to sell premium, how to recognize when volatility is high and being able to sell that and capture it. But you've got to understand the risk exposure you have when you put on a trade. And that's really the disconnect, I think, amongst most of the world with this idea of a cash secured put. Even just those 2 words, right? Cash secured, those feel safe, right?
Yeah.
But when you're doing it in this form of a naked put option, where you're selling an option that obligates you to buy shares, if those shares have a really, really bad day, you got a lot of risk exposure. So show us this example on Dollar General,
right,
that you went through just recently.
Yeah, you and I were just talking,
week.
and we said we should record this and share it with everybody in the everyday trader. So I don't know. I mean, I know some of you've reached out to us. And by the way, like and subscribe, and please add comments. That helps with the SEO to make sure that other people see this. Share it with your friends. But I think you listening to us, you tend to be a more conservative trader. You're not really out there looking to take risk. I think you're probably a more mature person, maybe not so in years, but you're not gamblers, and you're not out there doing these YOLO trades. And that's important to keep in mind, because you don't know the person sitting next to you, what their motivations are. They're people doing trades, and you see them on Twitter or social media. You talk to your friends that are doing trades. I always say this, there's a guy who goes to Vegas and makes money all the time, but it's not you. But everybody knows the guy, right? So these trades are strategies. Am I sharing my screen now? This is a trade that I did yesterday on Dollar General. I did not do this trade, but this is actually part of my strategy, was a naked put. This is really the source of profit that I got in this trade. And I didn't actually place this trade, but yesterday the stock was trading at 122.32 when I placed this trade, and I sold the put. And if I just sold that naked put, I would have brought in $431. Today, the stock is down here, so I'm down $3,000 or $2,900. So yeah, right around 3,000.
You're not, but you would be if you would have do this. If you would have done
well, actually, on this instrument, I am down that much.
I guess that's true.
There's no question about it. but this was part of another strategy. Let me show you what I actually did was a complicated, and this, we're going to jump right into level 8. This is, you need to have a certain foundation, and I'm going to speak a language, a visual language here that Greg and I both understand and speak fluently. Greg looks at this picture and instantly he knows everything he needs to know about this trade. If you're trading options, you need to know, how much can I make? How much can I lose? Where's my break even? What happens if the stock goes up? What happens if it goes sideways? What happens if it goes down? Where and when are my max profit and max losses? Being able to see that in a matter of seconds, I look at this picture and I know all of this. I know all of the Greeks instantly. I understand the delta of this trade, the gamma, the theta, the vega, in literally a matter of seconds. And if you're just using the Greeks and looking at the structures of your trade, this is hard for you to do. And it takes a certain level of foundation, it takes a foundation, experience and knowledge to get there to be able to see this. But this is a P&L graph. This shows my profit and loss versus the stock price. I placed this trade yesterday, and let's break it down. So I'm going to show you what the trade is, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix this trade. So the trade is actually a combination of two trades. I was explosively bullish. I expected Dollar General to go up yesterday. So I did a bull call spread, So that's where you pay for a long call and a short call. This trade cost 187, max payout on is 313. This did not work. So the other portion of the trade is a twist on a bull put or a put credit spread. So this is a bull put that's calendarized. So I don't have both options in the same expiration. I have the option actually in a second expiration series. So the long put is September 20th. The short put is September 6th. So have I described this trade, Greg? Is there anything that I didn't say before I go to what happens
Nope.
next?
You got it. Your 4 instruments. There you go.
Okay. So that might have been really fast for some of you. But listen, it doesn't get much more complicated. If you kind of understood, you can get this. Everybody listening to me, if you've gone this far, this is a concept that you can master. You just gonna need to put some effort into it. So this trade, if you look at it, the max payout on this trade, well, actually, technically the max payout would have been if the stock went right to here. My max payout would be 570 or 580 bucks, something like that. But if the stock went very high, like I thought, I'm looking at making $446. Okay. So that's essentially the same thing as this naked put, $431 if the stock goes higher. The difference is what happens on the downside here. If the stock goes crashing down, I've got protection because I have this long put, September 20 long put in here as protection. So this is what's going to happen. The call side of that spread is going to expire worthless. So I'm closing that out for nothing. I paid for it. I'm going to take a max loss on that portion of the trade. I was assigned shares at 120. So now the trade that I'm in is what? It is long stock and a long put.
It's a married put.
It's a married put or a protected put. I absolutely cannot lose money more than 555, which, by the way, was the original risk of the trade. Let me go back in here. 555 is the max risk that I could lose on this original trade. Now, even though I did put $12,000 into this trade, I bought the shares, I own the shares now, I did buy the shares, I still cannot, because I have a contract, a guarantee to be able to sell my put for 115. You need to be able to work through the math on this before you can hope maybe visualize this. But here's the thing. If I close my long put, which is giving me protection right now, the absolute most that I can lose, or the cost basis that I will be at, is $5.55 higher than wherever it is. So if the stock is at 90, my cost basis will be $95.55. If the stock is at 80, it's at $85.55. If the stock is at $10, it's $15.55. $5.55 is the max. So what I need to do, and this isn't what I'm going to do right now, but when I'm
Before you go to the adjustment, hey, Eric, before you go to the adjustment, let me just reference that back now to the original, the concept we were talking about. If you're in the married put or the cash secured put, now you got assigned shares at 120 that are now worth $86.
in your cost basis on that trade, you own those shares. You did collect a premium. You own those shares for 115.69. And the wheel strategy would say, now go buy a put. And what do you think is going to happen? What do you think the price of those puts are now? They've gone through the roof and the applied volatility is very high. And the put doesn't protect you. When do you need a put? You buy it before you need it.
Before the drop, right?
Before the drop.
You don't need insurance after the tornado hit your house.
Yeah.
Right?
It's crazy to go buy tornado insurance after the tornadoes hit your house. And that's the concept of the wheel strategy. So it sounds good in theory, but in practice, why not buy it ahead of time? Because it was cheap. Yes, it took some profit away from my trade. It cost me $2.99 to buy that put, but it was cheap insurance because it limited my risk to the downside. Now, this isn't what I'm going to do right now, but I am going to do this. If I close that long put right now, this is my cost basis will be 91.73 on the trade. It's trading less than that. If I can sell a call at 85, and this is a trade I could do right now, I will be in a trade that's got a 59% probability of profit. And I started with a high probability profit. That trade had like a 65% chance of making money yesterday. The low probability thing happened. Hey, listen, Donald Trump got elected. He had a 10% chance of winning. Low probability things happen. You can roll 2 on the dice. The odds of you rolling 2 are 1 in 36, but it happens. So low probability things happen. You need to plan for them. And I'm not going to do this now because I think I can actually eke out more profit on the trade. But this is an adjustment. This was all in my plan ahead of time. No stress, no panic. There's no need to fret. And I just don't understand. I do understand why. Why do people do these trades? Because they're simple and it's too complicated maybe to think through this other trade. But you're looking at basically making the same money. Now, this is more, it's got more moving parts to it. So you need to understand it, but it's so superior. I have no idea why people trade naked puts. I just don't get it when you can do this. And the answer is,
again, it's why do people why do people consume seed oils? Because we've been told that they're safe and that they're good for us, right?
Seed oil isn't sugar, man.
We've been told by our financial advisor that a cash secured put is a safe trade, a conservative way to play the options market a little bit, decrease your risk, lower your cost basis and shares that you already want to buy. But in reality, you're exposing yourself to huge risk that is just not needed. You can accomplish the same thing by understanding spread strategies. And you use kind of an aggressive spread strategy that's very applicable, and you're going to adjust your way into a profit very easily. But again, it just comes down to understanding how to use the tools that are available to you. And again, it's not rocket science, folks. I mean, we do have rocket scientists who have come through our education.
We do, literally.
We literally have an astronaut.
We had that one guy who took classes from the International Space Station.
From the space station, yeah.
Yeah, literally. We've had clients take it from outer space.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, the answer to the question, I said, I don't understand why people do these other high risk trades. And I do know the answer. And that's because they don't have the knowledge or the confidence to be able to do it. And it drives me crazy because it's made such a huge difference for me to be able to trade. You know me, you've known me for 2 decades now. I'm a very emotional person, and that does affect me and affects you too. I admire these people that can be really calm and collected. I get pretty worked up about things. I'm very excited and sometimes very upset. I swing a lot. But in a trade like this, because I know all the outcomes and I can visualize them ahead of time and know what I'm going to do when this happens or that happens or that happens, I don't have any stress. And when we're stressed out, we're stupid. Your IQ drops. Daniel Crosby did a study showing that when you are stressed out, your IQ drops by 17 points. And listen, we all need as many IQ points as we can have. And so trying to avoid those periods where you have those extreme emotions, whether they're greed or fear, they get in the way and they cause us to do dumb things. So I wanted to share this trade because I thought it was really timely. It's a real money trade. It's in my account. I'm sharing it with our community right now, and we'll be making money on this.
Well, thanks for watching today, folks. Like Eric said before, like and subscribe. Share this with your friends, especially those who are getting told that it's safe to do cash secured puts. Understand your risk. All right, we'll wrap it up. Thanks. We'll see you all at the next one. Thanks, Eric.